Hey everybody, welcome to Fight Right 24/7. I'm Augustine Renee Sanchez. This is my son, Augustine Mathew Sanchez. He's going to be helping me out today. So we're going to go over the basics. So again, what we're doing is we're trying to train people that have never had a lesson in their life, or maybe had a couple of lessons, but it's not ingrained in you to survive a street fight. And that's what our method of fighting is how to survive a street fight. And by the way, you don't ever win a street fight. You can't. There's no way. Because a street fight happened or an aggressive encounter happened, it's not for points. It's not for money. It's not regulated by a referee. It's not in a ring. So there's no winning.
You're already at a loss.
The fight has started and I'm at a loss. Now, we never blame the victim. Never. But there are things everyone can do. I can tell by his face when he walked up and he started cussing, where his hands were. There's a lot of precursors. There are things that I can see ahead of time that I could use so that the fight never happens. Whether it's talking him down, whether it's changing the subject, whether it's giving him what he wants. If he comes up and he's like, hey, give me your money, if I believe this is a life and death situation, he can have my money, he can have my phone, he can have my cars. He can't have my life, and he can't have the life of my children and my wife. So there comes a decision point, and that's what Fight Right 24/7 is about. We're trying to prepare you for when that decision point comes, you'll be in the best possible position. Now we're going to have a different video on recognizing signs, how to avoid those types of things. There's some verbal things you can do. There's some physical things you can do. But right now we're just doing the basic lesson of jabs, cross, elbow, and knee. Those are the sort of four most basic strikes known to man. So the jab actually gets its name because it's whatever hand is forward, boom, jab. That's my jab. It's whatever hand is forward. Now, if I'm standing straight, flat, which most people do in the regular world, stand straight, flat, so that means either one of these can be my jab. If I was left-handed, this would be my jab. Or if I'm a righty, I'm a righty, but I like to fight with my right hand forward, so my right hand is my jab. If I fought traditionally right-handed, then my left hand would be my jab. So I would say that most people are going to be standing, talking. Maybe you're talking to another person. You're talking to someone over here, and this guy comes up aggressively, and you're like, whoa, boom, right? So is that a cross? Because you see, I put my hand out, now I moved into a cross. Or was that a jab? Or maybe even from here, maybe I have to stiff arm him. Maybe I have to stiff arm jab where I don't technically do this, but from right here, I'm bringing my fist up and I'm just sort of pushing his face away. So it's like a push/punch. And that's the thing about fighting. There's a lot of gray where things they go from the clear jab, if we were traditional boxers and it was just a jab, 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 to was that a jab or was that a cross? Was that a push or was that a punch? Was that a slap or was that a strike? In a real fight, those things are going to get real messy real fast. And so the jab, by traditional definition, is whichever hand is forward, boom, it's a straight out strike. I find most people stand normal, they're having a conversation, aggression comes up, and they're like, whoa, bam, then there's my jab, right? So cross is where one foot's back, and that shoulder's back. So whether traditional right-handed or traditional left-handed, or I'm right-handed but I fight with my right hand forward, either way, it's the hand that's further back. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why I might end up in the cross. Let's say he comes up and he's already punching. I see the aggression. I came up to block, and now here comes my jab or my cross. Boom, right? I'm crossing across my body. I'm shifting my hips, pushing off of my toe, and it's a whole body motion. What I want to do is not deliver the strength of my arm and my fist. What I want to do is deliver the strength of my body. I want my whole body into that punch. I'm actually gonna sort of coil down like a spring, push up off of the ground, taking my strength from the ground. As I come up and I'm on that big toe and I'm punching all the way through. In fact, I'm hoping to hit him to the moon. Like I want to hit him so hard he flies to the moon, right? I want to hit with all my strength. Because again, in a street fight, now if this was a professional fight, I might only throw an 80% punch to score a point. Bah! Get a quick point to the body, whatever. In a street fight, I don't have the luxury. I don't know what your physical conditioning is. And who knows, maybe you're drunk or maybe you got already stunned, so you're not at your full capacity. So I need to throw with the intention of ending the fight with one punch. We call it, fight stoppers. That's Lee Morrison, a guy we look up to. He talks about those fight stoppers. And if you haven't seen his stuff, you should check it out. It's really cool. So that's what we want. We want to stop this fight as fast as possible. Because every second that clicks by, something could go wrong. His buddies could show up. He could pull out a gun. I could fall down and trip. I can get winded. Maybe I have a heart attack. Who knows? So I got to end this quickly. I got to stop this fight as fast as possible. So I was standing normal. This guy came up aggressively. He starts to throw the punch or whatever it is. I blocked. Boom! Cross my whole body, punching through. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the elbow. Now, I personally love the elbow. I think that this is a very small weapon, and this is a very small target. And there's a lot of things can happen. Maybe he saw it coming and he starts to move his head, or he starts to block, or whatever. Who knows, right? It's a small target with a small weapon. There's a lot of room for error. So I like elbows because I'm not using this. It's actually a forearm. I'm using my whole forearm. Now, I can strike anywhere from here to here and still it's a strike. I'm going to create force. I'm going to have a fight stopper. I'm going to dissuade him from continuing the attack. So I like elbows. And I like them because in a surprise situation, I can throw them very, very quickly. So let's imagine Mathew's off screen and he's the aggressor and he's coming on screen and I go, whoa! I've got my hand up for that initial block or to create space, and now, boom, here comes my big elbow. And even if I'm a smaller person, let's imagine I'm a female with a smaller weight ratio, or I'm not a super tall guy. I mean, it's a normal height. 5'6" is absolutely normal. But there are people who are taller than me, like Mathew. So an elbow is a great equalizer, right? I can't generate the strength of a 300-pound dude. But this elbow with that Y, again, I'm twisting my whole body. I'm pushing into it. I'm actually trying to throw the elbow past the target. I'm actually not trying to hit here. It's like I'm trying to hit the back of his head. So the aggression came. I got my space up. And maybe I got hit, by the way. Maybe I took a glancing blow. Maybe I got struck. And I can't just keep taking strikes. So I'm going to return my own. Up close. Boom. Because usually the attacker is bigger and they're trying to overwhelm. Attackers choose targets that are smaller than them, weaker than them, that they believe they have a high chance of success. They're not going to attack, a super buff dude. Again, unless it's like a personal thing, like, I don't know, stole his girlfriend or whatever. I mean, that it can happen, but the average mugger, robber, thief is going to choose a target that seems easy to take. And again, we're going to talk about things that we can do as human beings to dissuade someone from even choosing me as a target. Or at least it's less likely they'll choose me as a target. Now, there's no absolutes, obviously. But anyways, so the elbow's really great. And I can throw it. And by the way, here's something to practice. Every time you go, because for technique-wise, I stand normal. And I pretend like I'm reaching back for my seatbelt. I pretend like I'm reaching back, and by the way, you can do this if you want to build in some practice time for how to throw a perfect elbow. Every time you get in your car, and every time you go to get your seatbelt, now when someone else gets in the car with you, you're going to look like a weirdo, but just let it go. Every time you reach, that's that perfect motion. It's about right here. So when I go to reach for it, I'm imagining there's somebody in front of me, and notice what that does. I'm swinging my elbow all the way through. I'm not stopping here. I'm stopping here. And that, again, helps me generate force. Now, when you turn in your whole body you turn your whole body into it, and all of a sudden, I'm creating the kind of force that's going to stop a fight, that's going to knock this person out, that's going to win them, that's going to harm them so much, they say, whoa, I'm going to pick a different victim. Because this elbow, that's strong, that's powerful, and it's going to really dissuade them. So now we get to knees. Now, knees are a special thing. Striking the groin, kneeing the groin, they're okay strikes. I think that they've been oversold in women's self-defense classes, in regular self-defense, in movies. Everyone thinks that, oh, you have a male attacker, strike his groin, fight's over. Well, that's not true. Let's imagine his adrenaline's super high. Remember, we have soldiers who were shot 19 times and kept fighting, kept killing bad guys, kept climbing mountains, right? There are people who are on drugs. They get shot by a police officer in the heart, their heart's pumping blood out of their chest, and they're still fighting, grabbing, killing. So a groin shot is not as debilitating as movies or most self-defense classes make you believe. Now, if the target's unaware, we've all done this to a friend. We punch him in the groin as a joke, or maybe, I don't know, your style of fighting or your background, but maybe you kick somebody in the groin, and you're like, wow, it really worked. But he was unaware. So if he's just standing there, if you're a big fan of the surprise attack, like you see somebody sketchy in a parking lot, and you think, I think that guy's going to attack me, you can run up and kick him in the groin. Yes, he will fall to the ground, but you're going to go to jail because you instigated the fight. So the knee is actually like a punch or an elbow. It's the easiest to strike with, especially when the attacker has closed the distance and maybe you're already entangled. You're sort of wrapped up. While your hands are busy up here trying to hold on for dear life, and there's this space right here. And so that knee, and Mathew's going to demonstrate, that knee can come up and strike right into the ribs, right into the stomach, right? Multiple. He can, again, the groin's not a bad strike. It's a good strike. It's just not as fight-stopping as some people are led to believe. But what it will do is cause the attacker, in this particular scenario, I'm the attacker. So I came up, I grabbed him, I said, give me your wallet. We're sort of in this struggle right here. And Mathew, we're imagining, is untrained. So the only thing he can think of to do is to grab onto me. That's in street fights. One person grabs, the other person grabs. It's just like boop, boop, automatic. One person punches, the other person punches. If you watch any YouTube videos about street fights or people fighting on YouTube, you'll notice whatever the attacker does, the other person will try to do back. I don't know why, but it's a weird phenomenon. So I grabbed, he's going to grab. That's what the average scared person's going to do. So now we're sort of in this struggle. Well, the good news is even though our hands are locked up, even though our heads are kind of locked up, and we'll get into biting, headbutting, eye gouging, we'll get into all that later. But right now, a super simple knee to that solar plex. Boom, right into my kidney, liver, right into that lower portion, right into my ribs. That's going to be a fight stopper. And if nothing else, as the knee strikes, I'm going to let go and try to deal with this threat because he's going to take his leg back because I'm afraid of another one because that really hurt. It hurts. So I'm afraid of another one, and now his hands are free, right? His hands are free, so now he can switch to a different attack and he can dissuade me because I was the aggressor in this scenario. So the knee is super simple. Now I'm going to give you some tips on the knee. Number one, you kind of have to load it up a little bit. It's very difficult to generate enough force just right here. You could, again, against an unsuspecting target, but a target that is pumped up on adrenaline or pumped up on drugs, it won't dissuade them. So you almost have to step back, again, load up into that spring, just like I did for my cross, just like I did for my elbow. I'm going to sort of, we got into this action here. Actually, he's the aggressor now, so he's going to grab me. I panic, I grab him. We're sort of in a little bit of a struggle, and we're talking nanoseconds. This is where you have to train in person. This is why you have to take classes. And again, check out Fight Right 24/7. We offer individual training, one-on-one training. We also go more in depth into the little nuances. But this is nanosecond reaction time, and that's what you got to train yourself to do. If my aggressor grabs me like this, and it takes me a while, and he's like shaking me, punching me, right? I can't come up with a plan now. It's too late. I'm already assaulted, or at least it's very unlikely I'm going to survive this encounter the way I would like, with the least amount of damage to myself. So it's got to be nanosecond. As soon as his hands touch me, boom, I'm on him too. Even if that's my only reaction, my fear reaction. And I think there's better reactions, but again, for the untrained fighter, this is most likely going to be your reaction. That's okay. I can step back, boom, knee to that solar plex. Boom, knee to the midsection. I'm sorry, and this is the solar plex, but I can knee that sort of side, that rib, the lower rib, his kidney, his whatever, his liver. Right? I can deliver that shot, that side shot. I can deliver that front shot. Again, the groin, I could. Now, I think you have to go a little bit further for that attack because actually, when I grabbed him, most likely your attacker is going to sort of fall into an athletic stance where he's leaning forward for all of his power. So now that groin is really far away. Now I could straight leg kick to the groin, but again, if he does this, if he's in this position, that's okay. I'm just going to hit him in the center of his chest. I could even possibly hit him in his face, right? And again, in a fast motion, I'm going to step back, pull down as I come up with that knee. Now it's a fight stopper. Now it's worthy. So, anything else you want to add?
No, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Again, check out our Instagram page. We're on Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter. We're going to be putting a lot more information out there, photos, videos, because we want everyone in America, everyone in the world, to be able to defend themselves, to be able to fight correctly all the time. That's why we call it Fight Right 24/7. All right, thanks.